We look at
Hello, I'm Maria Nagaga, and welcome to Microsoft Build 2019. Remember to tweet your questions at MSBuild and ask us anything you would like. Now let's meet the faces behind C#, F#, and Visual Basics.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. We're here with Kathleen, Mads, Dustin, and Phillip. Let's go around and introduce ourselves.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Dollard. I work with Visual Basic.net. I'm the PM and architect of that, and I also work on some of the other languages, and I am happy to be here. Build is awesome this year. It's absolutely fantastic. So, yeah, it's great.
I'm Mads Torgersen. I'm a program manager on the .NET team, and I'm also the lead designer of C#.
Great. My name is Dustin Campbell. I'm a principal engineer on C# and lots of .NET things, I guess. I spread around quite a bit.
I'm Phillip Carter, and I do F# stuff, and I also do other .NET tooling stuff.
I know, we're all part of the same team, and there's so much happening with the .NET Core 3 announcements and all the new things happening in the languages with C#8 and everything that's happening with F#. So I want to start with you, Kathleen.
Yeah.
What do VB developers have to look forward to this year?
So the big thing that's going on with VB is that it has been only partially implemented on .NET Core. So there's something called the Visual Basic Runtime, which carries parts of what Visual Basic programmers consider the language. It's beyond the compiler. And this is special in Visual Basic that it has these extra features. And they've only been partially implemented on .NET Core. So the big news for .NET Core 3 is that we are filling that out. It will not be 100% because some of those features have very little use and they're a little out of date. But right now we're looking for Visual Basic programmers that are going to be looking at particularly Preview 6, which is not yet released, the preview after the one that's just been released, to give us some feedback on that as to whether or not we've got the right surface area for you so that Visual Basic programmers will also be able to port their applications, which is especially cool because with WinForms coming to .NET Core, then we think it's a great combination to have Visual Basic and WinForms ready to be there on .NET Core 3, so we're very excited. WPF as well, and other workloads as well, but we're very excited about that.
So where can VB developers go to give their feedback?
So one of the places you can go is VB Lang. We're a little loose on the fact that we do a little bit more than languages on there, but that's one of the places that you can go and give feedback, as well as if you're in Visual Studio, there's always that button there that you can just give feedback on.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really looking forward to seeing that. So Mads and Dustin, yesterday you did your presentation. I understand that you were cut off the screen, so this is your time to be on the screen, Mads.
Hi, this is what I look like. It's the face behind the voice.
The face behind the voice. So C#8 is out. I'm sure people have tons of questions. And for people who weren't able to go to the session yesterday, what are some of the things that they can look forward to?
Well, C#8 is a relatively big new C# version, so there's several big features in there. The one that we usually lead with is Nullable reference types, which is a feature that lets you finally distinguish between when you should and when you shouldn't have nulls in your reference types, which is a big source of runtime blowups that we want to try to help eliminate. Then async is getting a revamp in this day and age. A lot of data is streaming in real time, and being able to embrace async streams that take place over time in the language has also been important for us. And then there are lots of other bigger or smaller things that help with expressiveness and terseness. And also with software composition in one instance where the ability to evolve interfaces over time has really been limited so far to actually don't evolve them at all. And now we're making it so that you can start adding to interfaces in a way that doesn't break existing implementers. So this is a good sort of
wide range of things.
Wide range of things that are all about.
In fact, range is one of those features.
Range is one of those features. Yes.
Good catch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Dustin, do you have anything to add to that?
No, Matt said it all. No, there are several other little features, and we showed several of those yesterday, and so it just reminded me of the one that I really like, the range and the index expressions, right? Which are about being able to remove some of the kind of the boilerplate you have to write, just the small things that make it just more pleasurable to write, and all at the same time also kind of giving you an opportunity to write code in a way that kind of does away with some of these common little off-by-one bugs and things like that. So really, there's some really nice stuff in C#8. It is bigger than you think it is, too. Mads is right.
All right.
Yeah.
And Phillip, the intro for F#. Like Spark.net is a huge thing for people. It's everywhere on the conference floors. It's like, what can F# developers look forward to in this space?
Specific to Spark.net, I mean, I think one of the big things is Spark as a programming model. I mean, so I'm not really a Spark expert, so I can really only speak towards this programming model. But it is fundamentally about gathering up your data and running it through a pipeline of functionality that you just kind of transform, do pretty much whatever you need to it. That is squarely within the realm that F# plays in. F# programmers do a lot of different stuff, like, for example, with event sourcing, where they pull in different streams of data and they compose different pieces of functionality together depending on what they're trying to do for the particular task. That same kind of programming model is exactly what Spark is all about. And so that's why F# is supported on Spark.net.
Yes.
There's still, it's a pretty early preview, so we're kind of looking for feedback on the shape of the APIs and that sort of stuff. But even the preliminary API shape is pretty F# friendly, which is fantastic.
That's great.
So I'm looking forward to a lot of F# programmers exploring that and especially giving a lot of early feedback as Spark.net starts to evolve over the next couple months or year or whatever the timeline is.
Yeah. And what about with .NET Core 3 and F#? What can the developers be looking forward to as well?
Yeah, with context with BDL2009, we released a new version of the language, F# 4.6. It was a relatively small feature. It was that release was much more about performance improvements that we're continuing to make. But we have a backlog of about 7 or 8 different features that we're considering ship ready in the next couple of months. We're just not we're trying to figure out, okay, out of this bucket of features that we have that we could ship, which makes sense to ship together relative to how much additional work we're going to have to do once we put it all together and see if there's any bugs or anything like that. And so there's a couple of smaller features, but interesting ones like the name of operator that we're going to add that exists in C# today, but there's a couple of extra quirks that F# has that it can apply to, like name of operators and name of, which is kind of fun. And we also want to do named and optional parameters for function arguments. There's some quirks on how to make that work properly, but we really want to do that because we've been exploring a lot of data science and machine learning, especially F# for TensorFlow with kind of this research project that we have. And we've been finding that being able to use named and optional parameters for functions that we use is really, really nice for that kind of programming. And so we have a couple of features that are generally useful, and then a few that are a bit more tailored towards specific programming models, and we want to try to get those all aligned for .NET Core 3.0.
Because I like that you talked about the research that you're doing as you're improving F# and as you're doing C#. And one thing that people forget is our team is really big on customer research and customer development. And I want to know, as you're looking at the next wave of these products, how much of customer feedback has gone into some of the features that you've announced at Build?
So we made a big change over the last, I want to say more than half a decade, where it used to be that we did our language design in secret, in smoky rooms.
In ivory towers.
In ivory towers, yeah. And we really not just had the open source wave where the compilers are all open source and are contributed to by a lot of people who don't work for Microsoft as well, but also the actual design process. We've gradually moved that more and more into the open so that the artifacts that we use that aren't code that we use for our design process are actually shared out in open source and in GitHub, and the discussion is participated in by a lot of the community. So on top of sort of the deliberate conversations with customers and those usual things that we do, we just have an ongoing bigger networking with the users of C# and lots of people have ideas and things that they feel are missing and so on. So we're much more informed by what's going on in the world than we were able to be before.
Yeah, and that kind of also it works at multiple levels, right? Because there's the feature by feature level where it's people want certain things, they want to be able to express themselves in certain ways, right? But then there are also these industry trends where just kind of having an ongoing feedback loop with the community lets us kind of put our pulse on, okay, where a programming language is heading, what are the sorts of problems they're trying to solve in the coming years. And that helps a lot. Yeah.
And then I also want to add that somehow we've really improved our engineering processes to the point where we've gotten good at sharing early versions of language features, from prototypes through to previews, through to near shippable.
Yeah.
So that's a very important part of that ongoing conversation, is that it's not just that we're exchanging words and we think we know what each other means and so on, but actually having usable artifacts, like having tangible language features in your hands, and you can try them on your source code and tell me, that sounded great, but when I went and did it, this bit was really annoying. Getting that kind of deep feedback has really been super useful this time. You have really gnarly features like nullable reference types is a feature that's super simple on the surface, but then there's all this gnarliness underneath to make everything line up and to deal with corner cases and so on. And getting all that right has been a constant iteration of people trying it out and telling us where it hurt and filing it off and so on. That's like a new, we've always been prototyping to some degree, but that's the degree of focus on that as part of our design process and our ability to do that has really moved the needle for us.
Wow. Before we jump into the first question, Kathleen, do you have anything to add?
Well, only the big thing is I realized that we've talked about this being in the open, and I mentioned VB-lang, but we didn't say that that's github.com/.net/VB-lang or github.com/.net/C#lang written out. And so that's some of the places you can reach out. And VB also looks at the community. Yeah. We will move VB a little bit slower, and for a lot of reasons, including that's one of VB's solid features we can talk about is VB is a stable, very not changing language. If you want to move to cutting edge features and you want to have multiple new features in every revision, really C# is the right place to be. VB will move, it will get new language features, but it's going to be a slower process. Yep. And so we're also resetting our community. So we also have a Gitter channel. If you go to gitter.im, I think it is Visual Basic there. So yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask the first question from the Twitters. So it's about the future of C#. So what are your thoughts on using C# to clean up the language and redo features that are currently suboptimally implemented, which you mentioned yesterday? This would, of course, involve breaking changes.
Yeah, I think that last sentence there is the kicker, right? Through all of the many changes and almost revolutions that C# has gone through, we've tried to sort of keep a core spirit of the language constant through all of that, but we also have tried to keep it very strongly backwards compatible.
Yeah.
We haven't strayed from that, and that has served us really well, I think, by allowing our users to stratify along different versions and not having to sort of do work just to keep working. And that's like super important with a programming language. So I think that it is unthinkable to me right now that we would do things to C# that would break backwards compatibility. It might be that we can get ourselves into a different enough setup somehow that becomes more possible, but I wouldn't put money on it right now.
Yeah.
So the mistakes of the past can sometimes be fixed without breaking people, and where they can, we'll definitely look at that. Like what they're referring to is we talked in our talk yesterday about some of the implementation choices we made that are suboptimal today, but were made because back then we couldn't change the runtimes. Yeah. We did things elsewhere.
Yeah.
And to the extent that we can fix that and that proves important to us for performance reasons or something like that, we'll try. But we have to be really careful about, just breaking people for no good reason. That's just not a good thing to do. So even though we look with envy at some things we could have done differently, we just have to stick with our choices. And knowing that ahead of time as we design new language features is, that's something we try to really keep front and center. Don't do this unless you really mean it, because you can't take it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Don't upset your future self. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, what do you see as the future of your languages?
So for Visual Basic, we have a couple of key features that we'd like to be able to do, but between us and then, we have sort of some kind of necessary steps that we need to make. In particular, we've got the move on to .NET Core, which is absolutely essential to the future of Visual Basic, so that's what we're working on right now. And then there's some things that have been adopted by the runtime and by C# that VB needs to take another look at how to to play well with, possibly uptake, possibly just playing well in that environment, and that would be span and default interface implementation. And so as we look at that, we need to get through some of that. That would also involve if we do new types in the type system, which we might do not in 3.0, but past 3.0. So those things VB has to pay attention to. Yeah. And then we'd like to do, we're working on a new select case, which is VB's version of a switch, and that would involve some pattern matching, and that is something that the design for Visual Basic is very much a community-driven effort. And so we've had a lot of great input on VB Lang on the design for that feature, which right now is pretty well designed. It's still a little bit in the future and will not be in .NET Core 3.0. But when we get it in, I'm really, really pleased with the whole process that we work with on the community on what that should look like, and really impressed with what the community has done for us. So it's great working with the Visual Basic community.
So you're really leaning in with the community to provide what they want the future to look like.
The people that engage with us are fairly small. I'd love it if more people would engage on either the Getter channel or VB Lang or wherever they would like to engage. That is fantastic. But it's like there's a core community looking after all of the Visual Basic developers, and we have hundreds of thousands of Visual Basic developers on a regular basis, and we have a core group that really looks after them and looks after their, the future for all of us, which is to keep Visual Basic very much Visual Basic. We believe in it as a language as it sits today, and we want to enhance it where it's appropriate, but we want to do that very thoughtfully so that in the future, it's still Visual Basic, and you look at it, and it still looks like Visual Basic. And C# has been able to take some very aggressive, very great, wonderful steps to evolve it. So they're just different philosophies on the two languages, and one's not better than the other. It's just they're different. And I work on both, and I love them both, and it's fantastic. But for Visual Basic, keeping it Visual Basic is our core, and the community helps us do that. They definitely call us on, like, that doesn't look right. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The Visual Basic community bugs me about Try.net support not having VB a lot.
We want that.
That is coming.
We want that. So we're very excited. We think that that one of the places for Visual Basic.net is that first few days that you're with the language. You can stay with Visual Basic. It's a great language. But even if you're going to go on to another language, C# or even F#, in our space, Visual Basic is a great place for that first few days because Basic exists because it looks like English. That's Basic's entire premise. It's one of the oldest languages that we support, and it's anywhere in the industry, and that was done to be English-like. That is great for your first few days, at least. You can stay if you want, or you can jump off to something else, which is why we need Try.net.
You do.
Okay. So yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. Philip, what's the future of F#?
Yeah. What's the future of F#? Yeah, I have no idea. No. So there's two pieces to this. I think the first is kind of the things that we concretely want to do that a lot of the community, like, they might be able to do, but there's certain things that are easier for the community to do and easier for Microsoft to do. Yeah. And for that second half, I think the F# support for ML.NET, Spark.NET, and F# for TensorFlow are very much along the lines of, there's a lot of very difficult infrastructural work that has to go in to make that be a place where the community can then jump on and really start to shine. I see us doing a lot of work in that so that we can open it up to the community to really sort of define, like, what F# means for those areas. The second part is community-oriented, and that's because F# it's been open source for quite a long time. We've had an open development process starting all the way back since F# 4.0. And people come up with suggestions, they write specs for those suggestions, they then implement those specs, and they do it end-to-end, and we've shipped multiple language features where a Microsoft employee, all they did was just like spot check the code and give some feedback on the spec and things like that, but it was entirely end-to-end community stuff. And so there's also the other element of the community there where there's Fable, which is an F# to JavaScript compiler. And then there's F# on WebAssembly with, it uses Blazor, but it just really kind of goes to town over the top of it. It's called Bolero. And I see these as two areas targeting JavaScript and targeting WebAssembly where the F# community is extremely interested in. They're not only building libraries that can work with that stuff, but they're also building tooling that helps you be more productive as a developer. And so that's the sort of thing that I personally would not really be able to chart out a future for myself because it's just not really my area of expertise. But I love the fact that the community is stepping up so aggressively to do that because I can just take credit for it. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we can just watch it unfold, and all sorts of new things come out of that. Like, we did a few things in F# 4.5, and we're going to be doing a few more things for the next version of F# that are related to the Fable compiler, because they make heavy use of F# list expressions. And we took a look at some of the pains that people had there, and they were saying, oh, well, here's this common pattern, and I keep having to type this keyword, and I don't feel like I should need to type it. And we took a look at it. We said, yeah, actually, except for just one tiny edge case that we already account for today in the compiler, you don't have to type that keyword, so let's just remove the need for typing it in the first place. And that's the sort of thing where F# evolves, not because we at Microsoft said, oh, we feel like doing this. It's really the community charted a path, made evident a problem, and then we said, oh yeah, that's a problem. Okay, yeah, we're gonna take care of that, of course. And so so there's sort of the working with data side of things, getting it to the point where the community can really just take off with it, and then F# targeting the web via JavaScript and via WebAssembly are two things where I see F# having a very strong future in the next year.
And now, Mads and Dustin, the future of C#.
The future is C#.
The future
Number
of
one
C#.
question I get.
We pontificated a lot yesterday about the future of C#.
We did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It was fun. We had a number of features in our talk where we wanted to talk not so much about things that are definitely coming next, but more about features that we're dreaming about. And it seemed like, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Mads, but it felt like everything we talked about was somehow in the space of kind of just dealing with data, right? Whether that's having a nice, succinct way to declare your data and allow that to be immutable and, easily updated, or ways to abstract over data in ways that we never thought we're not sure how to implement yet. But we've got really pretty code that's all hand colorized on a slide, but it's not real. But we are thinking about some of those things. Can I put a perspective on a weakly typed data?
Yeah.
And be able to look at that in a way and then consume it in a strongly typed sort of way, statically typed. So it's some of the things we've been thinking about have been kind of in that space.
Yeah.
And we keep coming back to them, right? The first feature we had up was records, as a yes for the future. This is a feature that we keep putting up every year because we keep looking at it and it keeps looking harder. So we want to do it right. So I would say the future of C# has some more expressiveness with data. I don't know, what would you like to add?
Well,
there's more.
Of course, I fully agree with you on the focus of data, and I think that's part of a larger thing that we try to do with C# is that as the landscape of software changes, new things become important, new patterns evolve for how software interacts.
Right.
We try to move with it. We try to be on the forefront of innovation so that C#, while being a mainstream language and a generalist language for many different domains, is that it remains a language that you would like to pick up for your next project in the world that you're in.
Yeah.
Right. So data and the flow of data between things and the real-time aspect of the flow of data, those are important things that have evolved in the last decade. And so we keep trying to find better ways of integrating that into C#. And you saw that all the way back from async when things started to not just run on one machine anymore and communication delays started becoming part and parcel of software rather than something you handle over in a corner of the program somewhere. Then we try to integrate that concept into the language. Now we have oodles of weakly structured data streaming over large periods of time, and having to deal with that is something that we're getting better at, and we have many ideas for getting better still.
Okay.
Yeah. And coming from lots of disparate sources as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And just completely from my own personal thing, I would love to see more scripting, C# scripting, and C# coming together. And as we go into this space of data, what we're noticing is people want more scripting experiences where they can manipulate the data really fast on the fly.
That is correct. And I think that it is, now that you have all this tangible data, it's no longer acceptable to write a program for just future data that will happen at, in the customer's world, right? You need to manipulate data right now in a programmatic fashion in order to develop your algorithm and what eventually will become your software that you ship. And sometimes you don't. That's not even your goal. Your goal is to actually explore the data you have in front of you.
Just
but you want to do it programmatically.
right now, right?
So you never even get beyond that interactive phase. And that has not been a big focus of C. It's been a big focus of F#, and one of the places where it really shines. It has not been the same degree of focus for C#. And that is something that I think we want to integrate more, both from a tooling perspective and probably also from a language perspective. Having more of that immediacy and ease of, getting to acting on the data that's right there right now.
All right, so we have less than 5 minutes, so let's take one more question. I haven't heard much about C# dynamic. Why is that? And is there anything that could be done to fix it? I know that's a hard one to end on. Let's see.
Well, it
Challenge
implies
accepted?
it's so loaded. I mean, it implies that it's completely broken, right? So,
well, I think that dynamic. I could sort of just be flippant and say, oh, that's because the feature's done. Like, why would we talk about it when it's done?
Cop out.
But that's a cop out.
Yeah.
I think that it's a feature that it is useful for many things. Like, it lets you treat like untyped data as if it was real objects, right? And that your code look better. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with strong typing, and so it doesn't make your tooling experience as great. But at least your code looks nice when you use dynamic. It was a feature that I think we were probably misreading the direction of the software world a little bit when we built it. I still think it's a nice feature, but it didn't become as central as we thought it would. We thought that there would be much more interaction between static and dynamic languages on the CLR, and that never really panned out. And we also built the feature in a way that is fairly heavy on computation at runtime. Okay, and so we built the feature. If you look at what was the hardware situation when we built the feature, everyone was still using PCs when we started building the feature. And by the time we shipped it, everyone had small devices that were resource constrained and so on. And so we were just counting on Moore's law, making computation cheaper and cheaper. And yes, we can put a language feature in that's really expensive at runtime that compiles your code at runtime and all that. And just as that was coming out, this whole class of devices show up that are much smaller than the PCs that we thought were the only target of C#. And now we wanted to target them all. And we're like, whoa, this feature is actually, it takes up your battery on your little phone and stuff. So it kind of missed the market turn a little bit.
All right, so, okay, we have a few minutes left. And I would like to have a quick call to action for everyone who's watching. What do you want them to go do today?
So if you're a Visual Basic programmer, and particularly if you have a WinForms, a WPF application, and you can be put in your plan to sometime in early June, July, someplace in there, make a shot at seeing how it runs on .NET Core, that would be fantastic. Let me know how that goes. That would be fantastic. Yeah.
All right.
And this is a big change for us. We want to get feedback, see if we've got it right.
Use it. Grab that very fine quality preview and start hammering on your things and tell us where it doesn't hold up. That now's the time.
Yeah, now's the time. I mean, the previews we shipped yesterday at Visual Studio, those are just what we used on stage for the future C# talk. So everything we showed there is shipped, and you can play with it and give us feedback. So.
Yep. And if you're not an F# developer, go ahead and try it out. I'm not going to tell you go switch to F#. That's entirely up to you. But I'd say try it out. It's fully available on .NET Core. It's part of your .NET Core SDK. You can just do .NET New Console /lang F#. Give it a shot. There's a lot of great learning material out there. If you are an F# developer, try out F# for Spark.NET, try out F# for ML.NET, and try out F# 4.6 that we just released, because we all want to hear feedback about that, because that just helps us make things better for F# developers.
And best way to give people feedback is GitHub. So everything is available on GitHub. We are about to send you off to a breakout session with Mark on Insight to Azure Data Centers Architectures. But first, let's check out with Christina, who's on the floor.